Hi folks, we're going to take a look at a couple of examples of completing the square. So the first example I'll do is with a equal to 1, so I'll take x squared minus 10x plus 2, and my goal here is to take this expression in standard form and change it into an expression in vertex form. Okay, so step 1, as we saw, is to group together the first two terms. Okay, so step 2, and I'm going to work only in the bracket, I'm going to worry about this plus 2 at the end, okay, is I have to determine b divided by 2. In this case here the b value is 10, so b divided by 2, 10 divided by 2 is 5. Okay, so minus 10x, and what I have to do is I have to add and subtract the square of this value. So I'm going to add 5 squared and subtract 5 squared. Okay, and then of course I still have the plus 2. The next step now is the first three terms inside the bracket, the x squared minus 10x plus 5 squared, okay, factors perfectly to x minus this b over 2, in this case here 5, all squared. There's my perfect square. Now why is it minus 5? Because if I were to redistribute this, I need to get to minus 10. So that's why I need the minus 5. If that was an addition there, it would have been an addition inside my binomial. Okay? So now I've created my perfect square, but I need to simplify the rest of the expression. I still have this minus 5 squared, so minus 25, and then of course the plus 2, and I can now simplify these two numbers together, so I get x minus 5 squared. Negative 25 plus 2 is minus 23. And here we have our expression in standard form, which we're able to rewrite now in vertex form. So let's take a look at a second example. Let's take a look at an example where the a value is not equal to 1. So let's say I have 8x squared plus 48x minus 1. Okay? So it's very similar. There's really just one extra step. We still start, step 1 is still grouping together the first two terms. This is the extra step though, is I'd like in my bracket to have a equals 1. So the way to achieve that is to factor out whatever number is in front of the x squared. In this case it's 8. Okay, so I'm going to factor out the 8, and what are we left with? We're left with x squared, and here 48 divided by 8 is 6, so we're left with plus 6x, and then of course we still have the minus 1, which we'll deal with later. So now I'm going to deal only with the expression in the bracket, and I'm going to follow the exact same steps as before. Okay, so first step is to determine this b value of 6, okay, and I have to add and subtract b over 2 squared. In this case here, 3 squared. So I'm going to add 3 squared, and I'm going to subtract 3 squared. Okay, and don't forget to write the minus 1. So now the next step here, again within the bracket, the first three terms become my perfect square, x plus 3 all squared. These two are equivalent. Notice here it's plus 3 because my b value was plus 6 times x. Okay, and now let's not forget that we still have that minus 9. Okay, and then minus 1. Okay, here we have to be careful, make sure our algebra is correct because this 8 is multiplying everything in the bracket. So please make sure you distribute it to both terms inside the bracket. So I need my 8 times the first term, x plus 3 squared. 8 times negative 9 is negative 72. Then minus 1, and finally I can simplify those two numbers at the end. So 8 times x plus 3 squared, negative 72 minus 1 is minus 73. And here you have again an expression that started off in standard form that we rearranged into vertex form. Okay, that's it for now.